Well, joining us for discussion is President, Journalist, International Forum for Migration, Ajibola Abayomi. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me here.
All right, so what do you think of this warning by the European Union?
First of all, let me thank you for the opportunity to be here. And let me quickly correct this notion. The word illegal in the modern day reportage of migration, I crave your indulgence and with due respect to you as journalists and myself, we should drop that word.
Why? Migration
itself is not a crime. Rather, I will be comfortable when you substitute that with irregular.
Irregular migration, that's different. Illegal migration, getting into a country without complete papers.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
What we are saying in the essence is that by the time you introduce the word illegal, you are giving the security operative the propensity to deal with the situation as if the person involved is a criminal. But here we are trying to explain that migration itself is not a crime. We should give it human face. But having said that, the ideal thing is for you, if you want to travel to another region, to another country, is for you to get your visa process correct, is for you to adhere to the laws in that country. Yeah. But to that extent, information now flowing from people who should know better, particularly from the spokesman of the European Union in Nigeria, Britus Kennison, if I get the name correctly, they should know better. We take a serious exception to the use of language, illegal. We rather accept regular and irregular migration. We are not in support of irregular migration. It is for you if you want to travel, like I said earlier, to any country of your choice, to abide by the visa process, to get your papers correctly.
Okay, so
but however,
right. So, what best approach now, seeing your stance in the demarcation, the irregular and the legal categories of migrants? What's your stance for this crop of Nigerians whom the EU is now getting very uncomfortable with?
The reality is that it's a didactic for us. It's a lesson. It's a wake-up call. How did we get to where we are? It has almost become a cliche everywhere. How did we get to this level? The bottom line is that Nigeria government, Nigerians, we must speed up the process of creating opportunities for people back home. Why are they in you? They are in search of greener pastures. And the reality is also a lot of things are involved. Human trafficking, criminality and all that and all that. If our people, but I have been thinking about this. How do we lose the momentum? In 1980s or thereabout, you have the Malians, you have the Ghanaians, you have all sorts of citizens of other countries converging in Nigeria. Nigeria became a sort of economic hub. Now we are among the tide have changed. It is for us to go back to the drawing board that we kept referring to get things right. This economy must be redistributed. We must pay attention to empowerment of our people. Again, traveling abroad for us at the level of Journalists International Forum for Migration, we are preaching that you must not see traveling outside the shores of Nigeria as desperation. Rather, you should look at it as an aspiration.
Because I was getting to that now, to know your mindset now for Nigerians who, seeing as these routes they are taking are very perilous, disregarding the risks, they still go on to take these very hazardous journeys.
Yes, like I've said, you cannot just quantify the, how do I call it, the psyche of those who have chosen to go to travel to Europe, either through the Mediterranean Sea, either through the desert. It's unthinkable what people go through. But like I said, for a man, for a youth, for a woman, to so determine that rather than dying of hunger in Nigeria, I should rather take my destiny elsewhere.
All right.
The bottom line is that there is lack of opportunity, limited employment, which we must address.
All right. All right, so we'll leave it at this time, but the conversation will continue. Ajibola Abayomi, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thanks so much.
Joining us for this discussion is President, Journalist, International Forum for Migration, Ajibola Abayomi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, the European Union says it can impose restrictive visas implementation rules on Nigeria if it fails to play its part in the return and readmission of its nationals staying illegally in the EU. What's your take on this point?
Yes, like I was trying to explain the other time, Yes, the right thing for us is to take back our people, to show that we have responsible government at home. If they say they don't want your people there, the right thing is for you to make plans.
What if the people don't want to come back?
I'm coming, I'm driving towards the point. I've told you what could have led to a situation whereby people will cross their heart and they will say, rather than staying here, I don't care what it takes me, I don't care what will happen. I just want to leave here and go to Europe. It shows that the situation back at home was not palatable. So for us, it is right for government now to play a critical role by ensuring that if those people, because ultimately, the European Union government, they are telling us that they are going to repatriate our people. They are going to be deported. It's for us to make preparation. But again, you also ask, if you are not making adequate preparation for those at home, how are you going to go about it?
That's the question.
The issue of the dichotomy in the visa process, as far as I'm concerned, it has been on for years. It's a conspiracy against Nigerians. Oh, let me tell you, when people like us are talking here, some of us, we also argue, and because you don't meet certain conditions. For long, they've crossed their mind that they don't want you to cross that path.
But how would you juxtapose that in the light of allegations, quote and unquote now, of the kind of criminal network of Nigerians in Europe, which the EU is also taking a stance on?
I take a serious exception to that because as far as I'm concerned, and given the report read out by the European Union, they have not given us the details. There's no data.
But isn't it a fact?
Well, it's not. It's not. Except you are able to give us the figure and those involved. Now, what I'm saying here is that we don't support criminality. But again, it is not enough for you to label a migrant criminal. Let me tell you, anywhere in the world, migrants are economic developers. Don't forget that these people, particularly Nigerians, I speak for Nigerians on this issue. Nigerians outside Nigeria are hardworking. Been privileged to be in Europe. I've been privileged to be in Luxembourg, in Germany, in France, in Belgium. And I saw the way Nigerians are hardworking. If you are now saying our people are constituting nuisance, well, the right thing is that those that don't have papers, because we are talking of an environment where they take serious when it's come to regularization of your status. Now, then again, if you look at what the international law and international community is pushing, is that migrants that are irregular, give them an opportunity to correct their status. So why are they not also allowing these people to go into the system and regularize their status?
In the light of all of this now, this is coming after the US have put some restrictions on their visas for Nigeria. How does the international community now view Nigeria?
That is what I'm trying to reject as a Nigerian. That you don't say because you have economic challenges in your country which you don't want to own up to, and you are not blackmailing us. Let me tell you, as of today, according to United Nations data, we have 272 million migrants across the world. Out of this whole lot, Nigerians did not rank among the first 10 nations. That's the truth. The Mexico, China, and India, they have the largest population of people. And again, I also know from the data available, 50% or 51% of these migrants, they think towards US. Whereas we have Germany and Saudi Arabia controlling about 130 million each. So, but in all of this, the lesson for us as a nation, the lesson for us as a people, is to see how we can create opportunities for our people.
All right, on that note, we will end it at this point, but the conversation will continue. Thank you very much for talking to us, Ajibola Abayomi.
Thank you so much.
Well, joining us for this discussion is the President, Journalist International Forum for Migration, Ajibola Abayomi. Thank you so much.
It's good to be here again.
Okay, so looking at all of this now, what measures should government put in place to revert this?
Yeah, it is good that what they are complaining about, that we also meet it. Show responsible governance. That's just about it. But beyond all of this, well, I could see that you people are already sink into this illegal terminology. By the
It's
time
been in our lexicon for a long time now. So.
I know, I told you it's irregular. That's it. By the time Journalists International Forum put up our training program, which we have been doing since last year when we did our first international migration conference, we will be invited and you see the other side. The didactic is that we Africans and Nigerians must learn to tell our story. The European Union today is telling just one side of the story. What about the development these Nigerians have brought to Europe? Give them opportunity to regularize their status. Yes, quick one. What is government doing? Or what should government do? Like I said, our government, first of all, must be responsible to its citizens. Create opportunities. I've told you, how did we lose it? How did we lost it? In the 80s, you will recollect, Ghanaians are flocking into our country. Malians, the Europeans, name it, all sorts of color came to Nigeria to street dinner pastors. Now it is the other way around.
Well, government says it's a gradual process now, this walk or this ride, or so to speak now, to prosperity and the good old days.
There is nothing that is a gradual walk there. Let us take a decision.
Absolutely. But what I'm even driving at now is you've seen the response of the Nigerian government to the American new visa policy on Nigerians now. Well, Nigeria is saying, okay, you know, we go back way back. Nigeria-US relationship goes back way back. Is this the kind of response you want now in the EU position on Nigeria's...
I don't want that, and I don't pray for that. We must also, without being the spokesman for government, for instance, Nigerian Immigration Service, they are doing a lot to revitalize our migration process. But again, what is the kind of migration policy we have in Nigeria? I'm aware they put up a skeletal document in 2014. How many Nigerians are aware?
There's a new one now.
What is it all about? The information are not out there. But no matter the document you are trying to put in place, what exactly are you doing for your citizens?
All right.
Like Enedo, quick one. You know, it's a state that was tagged, you know, influx of migrant or human trafficking, but they are getting out of it because the government of the state, the sitting government of Governor Obaseki, has tried to address some basic needs. That is the way we should go.
All right. Thank you very much, Ajibola Bayemi, for talking to us on this. I'm sure the relevant authorities are listening and they will do the needful. Thank you so much.
I must thank you for being here. We are available at your service at any time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.